much. I've kind of made it a goal of mine over the past few years to try and surround myself with better people and smarter people and usually better looking people. It makes you a better person and it kind of challenges you. And I just, before I get started, want to say thank you to all of the speakers that we've heard so far because they are all better and smarter than me. And it really has been inspiring to hear your story. It made me wish that maybe I had spent a little less time watching TV and more time writing. But I wrote it on my arm, so I'm good to go if I forgot it. I am a TV junkie. Is there anybody out here that is a TV junkie? All right, I know we're at a TED Talk and you have to seem cool and smart, but it's okay if you like TV, all right? I am a TV junkie, all right? And I am proud of it. My DVR is basically on the verge of maxing out its space every weekend. I record a lot of TV. Now, I definitely record more than I watch, but I still watch a lot. See, I'm a comedian, and so my accountant and I have an agreement that my cable bill is research. So I kind of get to really soak it up on the weekends. And thanks to the gods of syndication, I am able to watch 30 Rock 5 nights a week. Anybody out here ever seen 30 Rock, the television show? Yeah, we got some 30 Rock fans. Good job. 30 Rock it's very funny, it's very well written, and it is very much a train wreck every single episode. If you follow the cast of 30 Rock, it's interesting. It's made up of a whole bunch of self-centered, dumb, overpaid, and underworked actors and writers whose only goal in each episode is to half-heartedly produce a live sketch comedy show for a network that doesn't even really care if it matters or not. They don't care if that show happens. It's total chaos every week, but somehow it all seems to come together and they are able to put the show together. And I firmly believe it's because of the leadership abilities of Liz Lemon. Now, I know that Liz Lemon is a fictional character, all right? But you have to stick with me on this. See, Liz Lemon was written by Tina Fey for Tina Fey, and it's based off of her previous real-life role as the showrunner and head writer of Saturday Night Live. Now, if you ever want to be considered to get one of those coveted auditions for Saturday Night Live, Lorne Michaels' crew will never even take a look at you unless you have extensive improvisational comedy as a background. Now, Tina Fey, she earned her comedy chops in the Chicago comedy scene. She learned from the best, and she is one of the best. In fact, a lot of people consider her a professional. Now, to say that you're a professional comedian is a really tough thing to say because I think improv is one of the softest of the soft skills, and it's really tough to be able to improvise and improvise successfully. In fact, what most of us as improv comedians are looking for, we're just looking for consistency. That is the holy grail in improv, all right? Now, you can talk to people that have taken improv classes. Do I have anybody out here who's ever dabbled in some improv? Do I have any users? All right, okay, it's okay. You can admit, I'm a user. If you talk to any of these people or anybody else you ever meet who's taken an improv class, they're going to say really cool buzzwords like step out of your comfort zone and meet new people and yes and. And I am here to tell you that all of that is true. You will step outside of your comfort zone, you will definitely meet new people, and you will learn to say yes to a lot of things that you never thought that you would. But improv is so interesting because I think it teaches us something that we don't always talk about on our websites when we're advertising improv. It never comes up in a networking meeting. I don't think a lot of people talk about it at a TED Talk. It's that improv teaches us to become leaders in the most unconventional way. We learn to lead from the bottom up. Let's take a look at 30 Rock, all right? Yes, it's a sitcom, all right? But really, it's just an exaggerated version of what a lot of bosses are dealing with on a daily basis. So maybe your highest performing salesperson, they may not be as irresponsible as Tracy Jordan and stage a fake move to Africa for 2 weeks. You may not have a team of engineers at your company whose sole concern every day is to decide whether or not they're going to order lunch from Blimpie. But you probably are going to have some divas. You're going to have some people who are irresponsible. You're going to have some people who are high maintenance. You're going to have a team of employees that become so consumed with themselves and the little things that they aren't able to step back and take a look at the bigger picture. I know from personal experience, I am actually a comedian who owns a comedy club. So basically, I wrangle comedians every day, or it's kind of like herding drunk cats. So whenever I'm trying to get my herd together, a lot of times my inclination is to lead from the top down, to dictate, to tell people what they do, tell them where they need to be. And I'm definitely a work in progress. I'll probably do it later today, and I'll probably do it tomorrow. But I try really hard to go back to what I've seen Liz Lemon do on 30 Rock, and more importantly, what I've learned in improv, which is to lead from the bottom up and figure out a way that I can support those people rather than just telling them what to do. See, every weekend I have the opportunity to perform improvisational comedy. Some people think that improv comedians are crazy. We are a little bit. We go out on stage every week with no idea what we're going to do. We get a suggestion from the audience, and then we take it from there. It's definitely a high, it's a rush to not know. I've been doing it for 9 years, and it never gets old. And I may not know what's going to happen on stage when I walk out, but I do know that the people that I'm playing with, they've got my back. They've got unconditional support for me. It doesn't matter what dumb mistake I make or what horrible move I make, they're going to support it, and they're going to make it look like it was the best decision for that show. And it's a really great thing to know that you've got the support of a lot of others rather than having to worry about just taking care of yourself. I'm going to have a couple of my friends actually come up here so that you can see a little bit what this looks like. Every weekend I get to perform with these two as well as a few others in an ensemble, and they are brilliant and they are hilarious. These are my friends. Come on up here. This is Kyle and Sarah, or Ryan Seacrest and Rachel Dratch, so however you would like to refer to them. You're welcome. So they have not talked about, planned, or rehearsed what we're going to do, but I'm just going to get a suggestion here from you guys, and they're going to do a little bit of improvisation with the only goal in mind that they're going to support each other. So, sir, if I could ask you a question, what is something that you have been on the verge of doing for a really long time and you were holding back and then you finally decided to do it? Oh, started your own company. All right, well, good for you. Okay. I thought he was going to say, like, take a Zumba class. All right. So we'll see a little improvisation based off of that suggestion. Okay.
Well, there we were, 2 years ago to the day. Started our own Zumba company.
Knew nothing about Zumba.
Nothing, not a thing.
Not a thing.
But this gal, she can get on the Google. She can research. You should see her strike a pose. Strike a pose, sweetie. That's Zumba, y'all. That's Zumba.
Zumba.
Yep.
Still not sure if it is.
No, we haven't clarified if we're actually a Zumba class or not, but if you put the name above the door, people come.
Will come.
They
people
come.
will come.
Yep. She came up with the cleverest of names. Remember the name you came up with? It was...
Hey, Zumba.
Hey, Zumba.
Hey, Zumba.
Hey. We have a hand waving.
Hand waving.
People
Sometimes
come.
I just stand outside and wave.
It's true. It's true. You know, 2 years ago, we made the best decision ever to start our company. But we couldn't have done that if we hadn't taken a chance in ourselves.
If we hadn't just gone out on that cliff, struck a pose.
That's right. Said a prayer and jumped. We jumped off a cliff into a body of water, knocked her straight unconscious.
I was in a coma for 3 weeks.
3 weeks she was in a coma. When she came out, she had this idea, let's start a company and let's do Zumba. I said, I feel guilty for maybe pushing you off that cliff. I don't know. But we will start this company.
I didn't.
No. It was just so, well, you've been there, you know. Your loved one gets on the edge of a cliff and you want to start a business with them, you know? Whew, it's good times, you know. We are the #1 Zumba distributor in Waxahachie, Texas.
Within the city proper.
Yes.
Do not go outside of it. We are slim.
No, and in fact, if you talk to Regina from outside of Waxahachie,
don't you?
You tell her to take her Zumba and, well, you tell her to shove it off a cliff.
Have you seen her poses?
She thinks that this is Zumba.
This is Zumba.
See the difference?
All right, and scene. Give a round of applause.
Thank you.
Thank you. So they make it look pretty easy, right? We have something that we say in improv. It's called practice makes better, because we're never going to be perfect at improv because it's improv. But did you notice that Sarah and Kyle, they just unconditionally supported each other's ideas? There was no hesitation. The first time that Kyle said, show him that Zumba pose, Sarah had the option to say, no, and then just kind of cower in and not go with it. But instead, she struck a Zumba pose. And the audience may be laughing because they're thinking, that's not a Zumba pose. But guess what? In improv, that is a Zumba pose. It's absolutely the perfect Zumba pose because she supported what Kyle had to say, Kyle supported the pose, and then they continued to go. Would you have ever thought from the suggestion of opening your own business that we were going to be pushing our spouses off a cliff and then opening, hey, Zumba? No, you don't think about that. But when you go into any kind of idea, whether it's leadership at home or it's at work or it's as a parent, as a child, as a spouse, as a friend, I really encourage you to just drop your ego for a little bit and think about what Liz Lemon would do. If you try to support all the crazy that's going on and try and see, hey, how can I actually make all of this work? How can I herd these drunk cats together? And how can I get them on the same page? You'll find that you'll create an amazing environment of growth, not just for yourself, but for a whole lot of people. And then you might have a great idea to open up a Zumba club. So just go out there and be your own Liz Lemon and learn to lead from the bottom up. Thank you.